Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. My name is Muhammad Nuruddin Lemu. I am Director for Research and Training at the Da'wah Institute of Nigeria, based in Minna, and the Department of the Islamic Education Trust. In this series, we will be looking at the subject of purification of the heart, of self-development, self-improvement, personal growth, looking and identifying obstacles to our moral and spiritual growth as human beings, and those things that undermine our relationship with each other. We'll also be looking at how to build ourselves both morally, spiritually, and especially in the area of our character. Last time, in the introduction to this subject area, we stopped at the metaphor of a spiritual immune system. And here we were looking at how spiritual growth and a better heart, a better mind, a better conscience plays the role of the immune system. However, unlike the physical immune system, which identifies germs and harmful bacteria and kills them, the spiritual immune system identifies harmful thoughts, harmful temptations, harmful ideas, and kills them when they're still ideas. That when somebody suggests something for you to look at something you shouldn't look, or say yes to something you should be saying no to, or no to something you should be saying yes to, that when the temptation to do wrong comes in, your conscience is strong enough to stifle that idea, to identify it as unacceptable, early enough, not after you are acting upon it. Of course, I'm sure we've all noticed how you're in the middle of gossip, the gossip is getting very juicy, and that is when you realize you're gossiping and you start to feel guilty. That's when your spiritual immune system is waking up to the fact that idea is already being put into action and you're even being called to now contribute. How do we make sure we identify gossip before we are now acting and involved in gossip? How do we wake up to the fact that we're being tempted towards gossip the moment the topic changes to somebody you would like to gossip about? That the moment you even start talking about other people, that you wake up to the understanding that this is wrong. Not after you have started, not after you've finished, but the moment the topic has been broached, the moment the topic has come to your conscience, you quickly realize, no, this is wrong, and I won't be involved, and you change topic. And if somebody said something negative about the person, find a way of balancing. Well, nobody is perfect, and we shouldn't forget the person did something good, and try and change topics. But identify something wrong before you get involved. Identify something good so as to promote it. Very often, we're walking on a pathway, driving with a car, or just passing by, and you see a broken bottle, a piece of firewood that dropped from somebody's lorry, something that is harmful on the road. And we're still passing by as we are thinking, well, it would have been good if I had taken that thing off the road. Maybe somebody else would take it off. It's very dangerous. Somebody may get hurt, but I'm already too far away. What to do? Inshallah, I think somebody will see it, and I hope, let me just pray that nobody gets hurt. In other words, the thought of removing the obstacle from the road came after you've passed the obstacle. If, however, you've passed the obstacle by half a kilometer, 30 meters, and you stopped, you turned around, went back, and took that harmful object off the road, what do you think will happen next time you see such an obstacle? As soon as your eyes even settle on it, Your moral responsibility will most likely wake up, not after you've passed it, but as soon as your mind settles on it. In other words, you've improved the quality of your conscience. You've improved your God consciousness. That what Allah wants, that what is right to do comes when you need it most. Comes in time, not when it's difficult to go back. No, oh, I'm with others in the car. It's too inconvenient to tell people, let's stop and go back. They kind of come on and they'll discourage you into that type of thing. And so what we find is doing good is itself a moral and spiritual exercise. That doing good supports and makes it easier for you to do more good next time. It emboldens you. It strengthens your spiritual immune system. It strengthens your heart and your resolve and helps you become a more morally motivated person. You are able to develop a conscience that is God conscious. Here we are not talking about just knowledge of God. Knowledge of God, knowledge of Aqidah, knowledge of God and His attributes, these are all important. But even the devil has that. Even Shaitan knows about God. Even Shaitan can tell you about the attributes of God. But that knowledge doesn't help Shaitan in decision making between right and wrong. So knowledge of God is important, but taqwa is that consciousness of God that is present and strong enough to influence decision making. That you are able to see something wrong and what would God think about it influences your decision. What is God's will regarding right and wrong when it comes to this issue? That your taqwa, your God consciousness, behaves like a very sensitive antenna, a sensitive receptor that is always alert to what is in line with submission to God and what is in line with submission to other than God. And you are not with any blurry vision regarding what is morally right and wrong in a specific context. And as contexts change, your antenna is really sensitive. That just as you can use litmus paper to test the acidity or alkalinity of a particular liquid, you have in you a quality, this taqwa, that's like an ethical litmus testing system. That it's able to test whether this idea should be acted on or not. And that you're able to see what is wrong in what is wrong. And you're able to be more biased towards good and avoid what is wrong. That just as some people have very good senses of taste, if you have these expert coffee makers, people that are sometimes described as baristas, not barristers of law, but coffee baristas, expert coffee makers and tasters. They even go for coffee making competitions to see who has made the best coffee. Now, who are the judges when it comes to good coffee? It's not just anybody. It's people who have a good sense of taste, a superior sense of taste compared to most of us. Taqwa is to improve your moral taste buds. That you can taste what's right and what's wrong. When an idea comes, you quickly know whether to seek refuge in Allah and seek protection, or whether you should support and pursue what is good. It's like having a very superior sense of smell. Forgive me for using the metaphor of a dog. Dogs have a sense of smell sometimes 1,000,000 times more sensitive than that of a human being. And so while you can smell something and you don't see what is wrong, a dog can smell it and realize something is very wrong. So it is important for us to see how do we improve our moral sense of smell. or our sense of moral smell. You can smell a rat. You know something is wrong. Some people, unfortunately, very naive, very gullible. Something is wrong and they seem not to see what's wrong. They seem not to see that somebody is breaching protocol, breaching standard operating procedure or standard procedure for signing things and, messing up the accounting system. And so just as we want to improve our moral taste buds, our sense of moral smell, but the same thing, moral vision, that we can see clearly. So when we say we can see the difference between right and wrong, when we say Allah to show us, وَأَرِنَا الْحَقَّ حَقًّا, show us, you want to be able to see more clearly right from wrong. But this subject area requires continuous growth. It is developing our intelligence the way we develop emotional intelligence, the way we develop moral intelligence, the way we develop spiritual intelligence. With practice, we become better. Nobody ever gets perfect, but compared to what somebody who does no practice is able to achieve, yes, good practice makes perfect. And we're able to continue to polish our conscience, polish our willpower, strengthen it, improve our character, and all the habits that come from good ideas that go through our hearts. And I pray that Allah continues to help us become more sensitive to right and wrong, to what pleases Him and what angers Him. Because ultimately what pleases Allah is what is good for us as humans, both in this life and the hereafter. It's what's best for the planet. Allah's will is always about compassion, about greater justice, greater goodness, forgiveness, better well-being, maslaha, what is in the best public interest of greater good and lesser evil. Inshallah, when we come back from the break, we'll be looking again more at this purpose of spiritual growth, motivating our moral compass and strengthening and sharpening it, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.